Well, I knew I liked him. I can't say it was love yet. Well, sometimes I think it was love at first sight, but yet with caution.
I worked such long hours that I didn't have opportunity to play ball, football, basketball, baseball, softball, and I never even got to go roller skating very often. But I took the opportunity one Sunday, and lo and behold, I saw this girl that I had been admiring.
I had a girlfriend that we were skating together. We had our skates and we had pink dresses on. No, the girls weren't allowed to wear pants then. We all wore dresses. And they were both pink of all things that day.
I tried to figure out how I could get acquainted with him, and so I skated around again. I thought, boy, I've got to say something really clever. And so I said, twins, huh? Again.
We both had pink dresses on. And he swung around doing some fancy stuff forward and backwards and came back again. And man, he said, I couldn't think of anything to say. And all I said was, twins, huh?
And pretty soon, I was skating with Doralee. When the skating was all over and the floor was cleared, I got to take off her skates. I asked her if I couldn't take off her skates and walk her to the car. And that's kind of how I got acquainted.
I liked him. And I went home and looked up his picture in the annual and showed my sister, and oh, she didn't know. You got to get to know him better. Don't get too excited.
I was excited, and she was excited, and she was hoping I'd ask her for a date, and I was hoping to too, but I didn't.
I was hoping all week that he would ask me for a date that Saturday night. Well, Sabbath afternoon, no call.
I got pretty brave when I got to thinking all week long that I should have asked her for a date, and I didn't. Friday and come Saturday, I still was thinking about it, still didn't do it. I thought, well, she just will turn me down.
And there was a Lyceum program, something going on, I don't remember, and I don't think we ever will know what they said or did. But he said he was in the dorm with the fellas in the hallway. They were playing the piano before the meeting and having just a joshing good time, all the fellas in the dorm. And then pretty soon they're all slipping away, you know. They're going to the program, picking up their dates or whatever. And there he was, left alone in the lobby of the dorm.
And I said, I'm going to call her. I don't care even if it is late, I'm going to call her.
And he calls and said, hi. He said, are you doing anything tonight? And I said, no. He said, would you like to go to the program with me? Yes.
My feet were hardly touching the ground, and I flew down about 3/4 of a mile to where she was living. And we walked back, and it was exciting. And then we went to the Lyceum program. And I was so excited to see her, and she was excited to see me. And we started dating steady. And then we were looking for opportunities to eat together. And of course, in those days, they didn't let the young men and women, the young men and the young women eat together, except if it was by accident. And we would make it happen by accident because we would keep shifting in the line until we got so we could eat at the same table.
When the second summer rolled around, early in the summer, I went with another girl and her mother up to the Wisconsin Dells, and there was a camp meeting up there, Adventist camp meeting that we attended, and Alvin was canvassing and he met us.
After the day was all over, or the weekend, that is Saturday, after came Sunday, Donna Lujan Beale's mother said, I'd like to take you kids up to Wisconsin Dells if you'd like to go. And we thought that was a great idea. So we went there the next day, and while we were there, that's where I had the opportunity, while we were by ourselves, walking among some of the washouts in the river, that I asked Doralee if she wouldn't marry me.
And I said, I got to think about it. He couldn't figure that out because I was giving him plenty of encouragement, you know. But when I got back, after that trip, I wrote him a letter and told him that I've decided that was what we should do, that, you know, that I wanted to marry him because I loved him. He was so relieved, so happy.
Oh my, that was one summer, and we waited clear to the next summer before we got married, which is something I never recommend. Well, you know, after you propose, you want to get married next week.
We got married in the village church, which is now a courthouse, an antique courthouse. And we went on our honeymoon to Turkey Run, Indiana.
Well, it was about 2 years, just about 2 years, not quite 2 years after we were married. And about that time, our first child, Teresa, and then we had a son. Now that's perfect so far. And then we had a third one, that was Kay. So there was daughter, son, and daughter. And when our youngest daughter came along, she said, "Fooled you, didn't I, Dad?" She said, "Thought you were going to have another son." At one point, I had done so much canvassing, that is, selling books, that they asked me to be in the publishing department, which I was for a number of years. I did it they asked me every summer. But the problem was I was always away from home. And when they asked me to take over the publishing department in the state of Minnesota in about 1957, for a period of 3 years, I was gone away from home so much that Eddie, our son, only son, when he was about 2 years old, he wouldn't come to me when I came home after being gone for 3 weeks. And I said to my dear Doralee, I said to his mother, I said, "What's the matter with him?" And she said, very firmly, quietly, she said, "He doesn't know you." I made up my mind right there that I was going to not work in something that kept me away from the family all the time. And you have to interact with children. So it has been my determination as I was a pastor to do things with our children. Of course, it wasn't hard for me to do that because I like doing things that kids like to do. I like to go water skiing, I like to go hiking, I like to berry pick, I like to do gardening, and so that's what I've tried to do all through the years. And I have enjoyed it. They did, I did. I found it delightful to take time to garden or go hiking or take a vacation and see other states and see like Grand Canyon or the West Coast or the East Coast or whatever. Go up into the mountains. I found time to do that.
Well, life with children growing up and going to church school and academy and college, and it was pretty, back and forth and back and forth. And that kept me pretty busy, besides being a minister's wife.
Her full-time career was being a full-time mother and housewife and pastor's wife, that is, without pay. But, I mean, she did a phenomenal job of being there all the time for the children, for me, and for others.
My favorite things in life are being a homemaker. And I read, oh my goodness, I love to read and study. So altogether, Alvin and I had 4 children, and we have, from them, 6 grandchildren.
Because it seems like we were just in college and no children, and then all of a sudden we had 4 children. And then now, when we think how quickly time went, and all of them have grown and then had their own families.
Yes, I would love to live longer and enjoy my grandchildren and see them grow up. And well, they are growing up, and see them get married or get their jobs and make a productive life, and that's fulfilling to a grandparent. But we have had a good life together, even though, there's always stressful times, but the Lord, I claim promises. I'm a firm believer in Bible promises.
Well, it's nice to know when you come home you're going to have somebody there that's steady and is looking forward to seeing you, give you a big hug and a kiss, and it's good to see you, honey. Those are things that make life worthwhile. And I think that's something that we found is so important, to tell each other during the day how much you mean to me. We tell each other that I love you, and if you got a problem, I'm sorry. What can I do to help? So I think it affects life. It does.
I can't say I've had any regrets about anything, though, because Alvin is a wonderful husband. He's very devoted. He takes good care of me, and he loves me. And I call him Stroft. He's strong and soft. And even though I'd like to spend more time with him, the time we do have together is very genuine. Yes, I realize how fragile life is. I would like to live to a ripe old age. And we thank the Lord, Alvin and I, every day that we still have each other.
I probably told her this before, but I tell her that she's been phenomenal helper and a marvelous companion, wonderful lover. She's been the greatest person on earth in my life.